So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special video that is actually kind of like covering some of the missed questions that you guys had on the video that I made of, Venus and intimacy here on YouTube. And full version is on my Magha Vedic Astrology Academy under KRS Vlogs. So I wanted to kind of like clarify that. And also actually, starting next week, I'm going to be actually starting a new series on KRS Vlogs of horoscope matching. Because just in my last video, the part 6 of intimacy, I think within 5 or 10 seconds, I knew that the chart that I was looking at is not a good match. They should do remedies. Okay. And it was a live chart or not live chart, just a chart of one of the students, or not one of the students, somebody they knew. And then I asked them for a feedback, and then they replied saying that, you know what? They just filed for divorce a couple of days back or a couple of weeks back, because I had that chart for quite a while. And then I actually shared that email with my students as well on my academy. So the thing is, it's such a beautiful art to understand horoscope matching that once you see two charts, your brain just calculates. Like some people are just able to look at a calculus problem and within 2 seconds they know the answer. I'm nowhere close to that. I can't even do fractions. But, all of us have those particular, magnetic traits that once we kind of zone into it, something inside just already tells us the answer. And so I'm going to show you the process on KRS Vlogs of how simple and beautiful horoscope matching is. It's not even something complicated, as especially you may have seen from like the Kutta system of Vedic astrology, where you look at the Gana and the Yoni, and the Tithis and all of those things. No, it's much more simpler than that and more beautiful. Okay. Now, most of you were actually asking me when I made the video of elements in Vedic astrology and how you can see who's going to be the parent and who's going to be the child in a marriage scenario. Because there's always going to be that, or there's going to be enemies. Okay, so that's what I discussed. I'm like, either one's going to act as a parent, the other as a child. One will listen to the other one, and the other one will kind of like dictate to the other one. And then there's like complete animosity, okay, that I discussed in that particular Venus and intimacy video, which you can watch on YouTube as well. But one of the questions is that what about if two people have same elements? So if, let's say, one's Venus is in a Cancer, the other one also is in Cancer, of two people have the same element. Well, great question, first of all, and I should have discussed it, but it depends. It's not so simple as understanding this from the dynamic of elemental science. That, okay, well, water merges with water and it becomes one. So you feel like one with the person. It's different. Because if, let's say, somebody is a Cancer. So, for example, two Cancer ascendant people, especially ascendant, because we're going to be discussing this on my KRS Vlogs when I just start this. People of this, like for example, two Cancer ascendant people will never do very well in a husband-wife relationship. They can do very well in a friendship. They'll never find that compatibility with just being two Cancer ascendants. But if you have two Virgo ascendants, they'll find compatibility. They'll be able to actually match with each other. But let's say if you want to understand the aspect of same element, well, the thing is, even though it's water, you got to understand in astrology, these signs represents different type of water. So Cancer is this flowing water and a river. It's this lake. It's this lake of milk, the flow of mother's milk, right? So it represents that flow of water. Scorpio is a swamp. Scorpio is where like the crocodile might be, some monster might be, Loch Ness monster might be. It is those deep, scary waters, that are still, there's no movement. So when the water doesn't have movement, it creates all kinds of dirt and dirty substances upon itself. Then Pisces is the ocean. Pisces is the vast ocean. So in such case, if we can match Scorpio with Pisces, Scorpio with Cancer, Cancer with Pisces, in those things, these elements can work. Okay? And same thing with the fire and air as well. Some air will just be like a blend. The breeze of air is just merging in with the other breeze. Then there's other air elements that becomes a tornado, a cyclone. And fire also. Either you will have the fire of passion, fire of motivation, or fire of anger, fierce anger. Now, this is not just from seeing just the ascendant, because once you start understanding the different dynamics, because sometimes this particular element is working great, perfect, but then this other element, this other placement in this person's chart is not going to be understanding this person's way of living, or the way this person wants to understand children, the other person does not. So you have to look at all of these aspects to really see, because this is why all marriages have problems. Because if you really want to know the secret of horoscope matching, well, you can easily tell somebody, you guys will fight. And they'll be like, yeah, that's right. We fight, we argue. But you see, that's the blind way of looking and saying things, because it's always going to happen. But I'm telling you why it happens, because there's always going to be this mismatch. Hardly you will find that everything is just matching perfectly. Like, for example, the distance of Mars and Mars becomes very important in horoscope matching. Distance of Moon to Moon becomes very important in horoscope matching. Distance of Venus and Venus becomes very important in horoscope matching. So understanding these subtle things, you start to understand, who will be the driving force in the marriage, who becomes the locomotive, who becomes the passenger, and should they be the passenger, perhaps they should be the locomotive, So we're going to try to understand these things. But again, whenever you find someone, especially when we're looking at the two exact same element, ascendant wise is different now also. So here's another thing. What if you have Venus in Cancer? Your spouse has Venus in Cancer. That works. That works. Because both of you know how to kind of arouse the other person. Both of you know what type of a love this other person needs. In that case, it's working. So yes, it'll work. But then if one person has Venus in Scorpio, one person has Venus in Cancer, how is that going to work? You see, now it becomes that dynamic. And especially in horoscope matching, Moon, Venus, Mars are very, very important. Then comes Jupiter. Because of course, you also want to see the pregnancy in the horoscope matching. Like, okay, well, will this person be having children? Will this person not be having children? But also, forget all that. Jupiter will then represent the intelligence of the two individuals, along with the fifth house. Perhaps one will feel like, my God, I'm way more intelligent than my spouse. Why isn't my spouse up to my intelligence? And the other person will be saying, why aren't they up to my intelligence? Because they're looking at it, their understanding of the world is different. Okay. So this is, but once you understand it, once you see it all together, it just becomes this beautiful painting. That, okay, these are the things that can work out. These are the things that will not work out. So what you have to do is you have to do this and you have to do that. Okay, but I wanted to clarify that answer of having two same elements. With ascendant, it may work, it may not work. But if, let's say, you're looking at Moon and Venus, yes, it can actually be a very coordinal relationship. Okay, so we'll do that. And also remember, I've uploaded my video on Spotify, or my podcast on Spotify. So make sure you watch that. Surprisingly, my Spotify is growing very nicely. So I don't know how, but it is. But I upload it every Friday on Spotify, including Odyssey, ODYSEE.com, which is like a new upcoming YouTube. So all my videos are there. So please go there and watch that as well. That's like a decentralized place for video sharing and idea sharing. All right. Otherwise, we'll see you guys.